This is the new 2026 GMC Terrain AT4. It's a compact crossover with rugged good looks and advanced tech. But can it handle challenging terrain? Well, we're going to check out all the features and then put it to the test, right now on Driving Sports TV. This episode of Driving Sports TV is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road. Click the link below to save 20% off your new membership using the code DSTV. The GMC Terrain is a cousin of the Chevy Equinox that we tested earlier this year. That said, this is a lot more than just a badge job. Both the interior and exterior are quite different. It even has different drive modes, which is good because the off-road mode in the Chevy version totally let us down on what I thought would be a very easy challenge. And we're not moving, but we are getting our vehicle completely covered in mud. This is literally 10 feet of mud. Can we get through this? Nope. I mean, oh, it just shut off its all-wheel drive system. All-wheel drive off, and it switched to two-wheel drive. So, yeah, I guess we found the limits of the new Chevy Equinox Active. If we are lucky, we will get some rain later in this video, which will help us replicate the same issue that shut the Chevy down with this GMC. However, weather forecasts in the spring in the Pacific Northwest, you never know what you're gonna get. While we're waiting on the weather, let's check out all the features on this GMC Terrain AT4. This is the new for 2026 GMC Terrain AT4 all-wheel drive with a panoramic sunroof, Tech Package 2, Riverstone metallic paint, metallic roof, and all-weather floor liners. Price as you see it here, $43,650 US, including destination. Under the hood is a 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine, making a peak 175 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. That is a significant torque bump over the standard Terrain models. It is connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it powers all four wheels through an on-demand all-wheel drive system. Towing on the AT4 is limited to 1,500 pounds. EPA rates economy at 24 miles to the gallon in town and 26 on the highway. The standard tires are General Grabber all-terrains wrapped around 17-inch alloy wheels. Regarding ground clearance, I've seen a variety of numbers from GMC. Everything from below 7 inches all the way to 8.7 inches. So let's grab a tape measure and find out what the real number is. Measuring right where the skid plate is, which looks to be the lowest part, and I'd say about 8.5 inches. Would be totally fair. And while we're looking down here, let me point out something that I kind of hate. And it's not just GMC, a lot of car makers are doing this. Even with off-road trims, they're putting gloss black all along here. Do you know what you're gonna rub first if you're going off-road? It's this right here. That it needs to be either matte or something a little bit, I don't know, less prone to scratching. Underneath is a skid plate, and up front we do get red recovery points. In terms of price and features, this does compare favorably to our long-term 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Badlands Edition. With the Ford, you do get significantly more power, but when you look on the inside, the GMC starts to look more impressive. This is a very modern and tech-forward interior that is definitely a step above the Ford. Like most vehicles in this class, the approach angle isn't great. It's 21.9 degrees, breakover is 19.2, and departure is 23.1 degrees. Let's see, back here we get a mud mat. Under the floor, ooh, a spot for a spare. Oh, spare's under there. We do get a 12-volt power socket and some lighting back here. Cargo capacity on the Terrain AT4 is up to 63.5 cubic feet with the second row folded down. But the real question is, can you sleep in it? This is a compact, so diagonal I think would be acceptable. I'm 6'1" and I fit. Vertical, not as good. Now, this is a practically flat seating area, so it's actually quite nice to sleep back here, all things considered, and I even get this really nice panorama roof, which of course is an option. Now let's look at the second row. In the second row, I get a nice comfortable seat. It's actually really nicely padded. I get two USB-C sockets, vents, fold-down armrest, and plenty of room. I'm 6'1", legs torso proportionate. I got room for my legs, for my head. It's actually really nice back here. Up front, the driver does get heated seats wrapped in synthetic leather. There's also a massive 15-inch display with support for XM satellite radio, maps, and settings adjustments. It also features the ability to stack applications so you can use all of that real estate. Connect your mobile with wireless support for both Android and Apple devices. And that brings me to the sponsor of this video, onX Off-Road. We love onX Off-Road for planning our off-road adventures. Which trails to drive? How hard are they? Are they even open? onX Off-Road provides all that information in addition to tools to help plan and organize your next adventure. Have you watched one of our mini road trip videos? We use onX Off-Road to plan and navigate every adventure. And right now you can get 20% off your premium or elite membership to onX Off-Road with the code DSTV. That's of course an abbreviation for Driving Sports TV. Look for the link in the video description below or click this QR code. Now that we've checked out all the features, let's take it for a drive, and then we're going to bring it back here to see how well it handles rough terrain at our Peninsula Proving Grounds. I like this interior. It actually is pretty cool. Now I know this is essentially a reskinned Chevy Equinox, but it does have different drive modes. It has a totally different interior. I think the outside actually looks a lot better as well. I think overall this is just a nicer vehicle for the money. And it's not cheap. I mean, no mistake. But you do get the big screen. You get a really nice digital gauge cluster. There's just a lot of good things going on with this vehicle. There are a couple funny things though. First off, of course, yes, the headlights, you have to control them in the touchscreen. There is no physical button on that. That is a kind of a new GM thing, and I don't love it. Over here also we have drive modes, which we can pick different drive modes. And it's funny because they look like they're push buttons, but instead of activating it, it tells me, don't activate it there, silly, use the mode selector. Why would you make them big squares if you can't touch them? I don't know. That just seems like a really weird design decision. And then, of course, we also have an all-wheel drive button over here. Yes, this has selectable front or all-wheel drive. Will I ever put it in front-wheel drive? Probably never. But it is nice to have the button. It actually throws me back to the old Suzuki Kazashi. If you remember that, it had an all-wheel drive select button down there as well. Right, well, let's drive this thing. Let's see how it does. I'm in all-wheel drive mode right now. The forecast originally was for some rain. I don't know. It kind of looks like it's cloudy, but it doesn't feel like it's going to rain. So we'll see. Hopefully we get some rain so we can get some mud. But if we don't, we'll just test with what we got. Okay, let's pull out here and floor it. I mean, it's a peaky little 1.5 liter turbo. What are you going to do? There's not a lot of punch there. But just how quick is this? Let's do a 0 to 60 to find out. Now, in terms of drive modes, we really don't have anything that will make it faster. These are all off-road or traction modes. So basically, I am going to preload by holding down the brake, adding gas, and go. Oh, it doesn't feel very fast. Kind of like a walk in the park here. And 60. So we're looking at 9.26 seconds. Not fast by any measure. This makes even the Subaru Forester go, not bad. It's not good. Punch it. Ooh, still feel a lot of that front wheel drive spin, even when it's in all-wheel drive mode. When I was doing research on this vehicle, GM didn't really include a lot of info in the press pages, so I kind of went to some of the dealer pages to see what they said about this product. And it was interesting. A lot of them said this has 8.7 inches of ground clearance and a dual clutch rear drive unit. Yeah, neither of those are true. You can't always trust what you read on the dealer pages, unfortunately. I did talk to GMC directly, and they did clarify this is a single clutched rear drive unit. It has basically a clutch in the middle that transmits power from the front to the back. That's it. And then it will use individual wheel braking to shift power all around the system. But it doesn't do anything special. It doesn't have any like proper torque vectoring. It doesn't have dual clutches. It is a very straightforward system, i.e. it's a fairly low cost system. It is basically what we see in the Chevy Equinox. But that said, this does have different drive modes, and I'm expecting it will behave a little bit different. It is amazing how different an all-wheel drive system can be depending on the programming. So we'll test that in a little bit. But right now we're on a public highway, and you know, it feels a little soft. It feels a little rolly for the classic car. I don't mind it so much. My wife, not a huge fan. Here is the weird thing about this vehicle. This seat is as low as I can go, and I do still feel a little tight up here. Although I'm not hitting, obviously. I'm in a fairly comfortable position. The passenger seat, you cannot adjust the height, and it is easily 2 inches higher than I am. So, I mean, in my case, I'm 6'1", my wife is 5'4". We fit fine here. But when we flip and I have her drive, she is looking at my chest from the driver's seat. It is really weird. Like, why is the passenger seat so high? That doesn't make any sense to me. But let's talk more about the driving, because I'm sure that's what most people who buy this, or at least decide to buy one of these, will have the driver's seat most of the time. And I think it is pretty comfortable. I mean, you get some nice stuff here. You get this wrapped steering wheel. You get these little paddle shifters up on the top. They can't make them too big because, of course, all the GM vehicles have radio selectors on the back of the steering wheel. So they can only give us these little paddles up on top, which is kind of funny. I do like this gauge cluster. We can change from 3 pretty different configurations, and I'm here for it. What else? Visibility, it's okay. I kind of feel like that C-pillar actually makes it a little difficult to see out of the back, but you know, it's not awful. Premium to me means more power. It means more precise handling. It means things like adaptive suspension. It means things like even a heads-up display. I don't love heads-up display, but I see them as a premium feature. Or even premium sound. I mean, this sound system in this is not great. It's pretty flat. And so, yeah, like, are you actually getting a premium experience? No, this is an entry-level premium experience. And they definitely wow you with the screens. The seats feel good. The steering wheel feels really nice. But the rest of it, the underpinnings, just don't really do much for me. Of course, this has collision mitigation, blind spot warnings, it also gets rear traffic alerts, and it also has adaptive cruise control. Let's go ahead and test that out. I'm going to go ahead and set my speed. It's a 2-button hit to do that. Let's put it up to the speed limit. And how well are we tracking lines? Are we tracking lines? Does this track lines? I know it has some form of lane detection. Oh yeah, I see down there the green lines are illuminated. Is it going to steer for us? Oh, it bumps us back in. And then what's the other bump going to look like? It's kind of swaying around. Ah, there we go. Crossed over the line. Oh, and my seat vibrated when I crossed over the line. That's how the lane detection alerts you. So it's not really a lane tracing system. It is a lane identification system with a slight bump, which is okay. It does have, of course, adaptive cruise, so it will gap the vehicle in front of you depending on if you're driving faster than them. It will always maintain a gap. So I think on the road, this car is fine. It's competent. It does basically all the stuff that you really need it to do. It's comfortable enough. It's quick enough. The fuel economy, not great for this class of vehicle, so you're not going to be buying it for that reason. Honestly, just get a RAV4 hybrid if that's what you really want. So how does this thing deal with actual off-road conditions? I mean, it comes with all-terrain tires after all, and yeah, you can hear them here on the asphalt, but they're not too bad. I mean, that's kind of the reason why so many car makers are using General Grabbers now as their all-terrain tire choice. Not only is the Chevy Equinox using the General Grabbers, so is the Honda Passport Trail Sport. So there's that. And that brings us to the question, do the tires make the car? Is this vehicle as capable as these tires? Or does the hardware underneath all this just kind of make it fall short? We're going to find out right now as we take this to our Peninsula Proving Grounds. Unfortunately, not wet. Rain never materialized. Actually, we have sunshine right now. What the heck? Welcome to spring in the Northwest. Well, we're going to take this to our Peninsula Proving Grounds. We're going to put it through a series of tests and see how well this all-wheel drive system can handle challenging conditions. Let's do it. Now that we're pulling in, let's see if this all-wheel drive system gives us rally car-like performance. Fly a little sideways. Well, it lets us get sideways. It definitely feels forward biased, like by a lot. It drives like a front-wheel drive car, essentially, which is interesting and probably not too surprising. Okay, well, let's start with our tests, and we're going to start here in our fun forest. Keep things easy, and then we'll kick things up a notch a little later. Now, this is a brake vectoring type setup, so it will rely on individual wheel brakes to stop a wheel from spinning, grab it, and then that power should go to the wheel with grip. Now, we do have a number of different off-road settings that we can play with here. First off, make sure we're in all-wheel drive. We are. I see the light on over there. So let's start with off-road and see what that does. Oh, also, I do have a surround view trail camera system here. How do I turn it on? Home. Oh, camera right there. Cool. And then I can select what kind of view I want. Let's do front. It's not going to let us do front with tracking lanes. Really? Huh, funny. Well, let's do a front view. Let's do it. Now we're going to listen for grinding on the bottom there. I measured 8.5 inches of ground clearance. I think the official number might be a little less than that. Oh yeah, slight rubbing there, so the official number might be the more accurate one. I think it's like 8.1 inches. We're just going to roll in here. Now, I'm not just zooming through, because the whole idea is show its struggles, show how it shifts that power around. If we just gun it through here, we learn nothing. We could do that with a Camry. Look for those wheels lifting, and let's see how that power shifts. As we go up here. All right, we're lifting a wheel. Oh, it struggles a little bit, but it is pushing power where it needs to go. Maintain an easy throttle for that power shift, picking us up. Come on, you got this? You got this? There we go. Gonna hug the dead tree over here, go down in the ditch, low as we can go. Then we're gonna drive out, lift those wheels, and look for that wheel braking. This is the toughest part of this particular section. Adding a little throttle, oh, and it figures it out. Okay, well, let's move on to something a little harder. This vehicle does come equipped with hill descent control, so let's give that a try. As the name indicates, hill descent control is designed to ease you down steep hills. I have to go into the software here, hit hill descent control, and once that's selected, based on my rate of entry, it'll then try to ease me down at that speed. Of course, I can override it with fuel at any time. Let's see what this one does. Foot's off the brake. It grabs it. It did grab. It did have to roll about 3 feet, 4 feet before it actually engaged. That's kind of annoying. I don't like that, because basically you're accelerating into it, which is not ideal. The best systems are ones that are actually more like a crawl control, where you can control incremental speeds, and it'll also carry you along at that speed. You don't need to roll into it. So yeah, hill descent control, not so good here. Go ahead and turn off hill descent control. I'm going to find our way out of this gully, which doesn't include a sloped angle to get out. And let's add some throttle. Come on, you gotta do, oh, doesn't want to do it. Okay, let's bump it. Up with momentum. Okay, it won't deadlift over that. Some vehicles will. Subaru Forester could do it. Here we have the Moguls. This is a fairly challenging course because it's deeper holes than what we had before, and they are all on an incline. Not a huge incline, but enough. So what are we going to do here? Well, let's try the more competent, I'm hoping, terrain mode. There. And let's see what that does. I'm assuming it's going to hold brakes as we crawl forward. Yeah, it'll hold. Basically has a hill holder built in. Going to get the camera up there. Oh, now we have front tracks in terrain mode. Huh, interesting. So, throttle is very slow on this, so it's giving me a lot more of that kind of positive, slow crawl that I like. Is it going to shift that power out of the back? I'm just adding a little throttle. It's easing us up and over. Okay, and it gets through it. Nice. Yeah, it's interesting. When I lift off of throttle in terrain mode, it puts the brakes on. But it's not like the Bronco Sports version where you have this progressive on-off. This one, when you lift, it just puts the brakes on. So it's not using brakes to assist in the crawl. But still, this is not bad for a vehicle of this size. It's unique. And I'm just crawling along to see how this power can get us through. Obviously, if this had a proper locker, it would be a walk in the park. We wouldn't have to wait for all this shifting. We go up. Ooh, I think I'm smelling clutch. Ooh, I'm definitely smelling clutch. So it's working hard. Come on, let's get through. It is a struggle, isn't it? But it did make it through with no error messages, so that's an improvement over the Equinox. And for our final challenge, we're going through the sand slide. Look for that wheel lifting. You're probably not going to see a lot of articulation in a vehicle like this. Oh, man, all that digging. See, the thing with vehicles that have trouble shifting power and they have all-terrain tires, it means they basically dig their own holes. They're very good at digging holes, as we're seeing here. Whoop. Okay, so the GMC Terrain AT4. I think it looks great. I think if you just want a daily driver that looks rugged and drives nice, this is a good choice. However, if you are looking for advanced off-road capabilities, this isn't the one that you want. It'll be fine in snow or on your typical dirt road, but when it really comes down to it, this doesn't have the climbing power that some people need. If you have a cabin in the woods with a really treacherous road to get to it, I wouldn't recommend this one. There are better choices. So I think a better choice, if you're looking in this category, would be the Bronco Sport. It still has challenges due to lack of ground clearance. It's about the same as this one, but it does have more comprehensive underbody protection, and it also has a much more capable rear drive unit if you go with the Badlands. So yeah, I don't think that when it comes to off-road, there's no question. The Bronco Sport is better. Another vehicle this reminds me of is the Jeep Compass Trailhawk. Now the Trailhawk starts at about $33,000, so it's actually a little bit less expensive than what we have here. It also has more power and more off-road capability. And then you also have the Subaru Forester Wilderness, although I don't think anybody's going to be cross-shopping a GMC with a Subaru, but maybe that's just me. And I think that about covers it. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. I hope you enjoy them, and we'll see you again right here on the next video.